Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a bit of an off day on Twitch and YouTube for me, but I thought I would squeeze this video in. It's very low effort, so I apologize. I thought I'd squeeze this video in just to, update you guys on what's going on. I'm planning to make a video together with Jiizuké to make a rundown on the North American teams. We're going to have a chat. Cookie, you hungry? You guys hungry? Let me just finish up and then I'll feed you. I'm going to do a video with Jiizuké to break down the NA teams, the same way we did with the Korean teams and the EU teams. We might do one for the LPL teams, but Worlds is starting and there's better things to do. Nevertheless, that might be coming out later tonight. Of course, tomorrow we might be doing a live viewing, but I might as well just do like reviews, because I like the fact that I can transfer the content of the games onto YouTube, and when we do live viewings, I haven't figured out how I can record, the game at the same time, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that are going to do live viewing, so I'm just going to do, reviews with our Twitch chat, and we're going to, keep it cool, keep it frisky. It's also quite early, but I need to get ready for those times anyway, because I'm going to be on the World's broadcast anyway. The days after tomorrow. Tomorrow it starts. World Championship is already here. I'm super excited. I know some people are sad that I didn't get through all of the regions, but I'm kind of worried of burning out, and this is not like, I need to kind of pace myself, because usually during the World Championship I really overwork myself, and I need to have that energy because off season is also happening, and there's a lot going on in my life that I need to have control over. So I hope you guys have some understanding, especially the teams from the smaller regions that I didn't cover on this channel or on Twitch. Nevertheless, we're going to review some of you games, so I hope that does it justice, and then hopefully down the line we're also going to take a look at the Vietnamese final, because I feel very, very bad about the fact that they can't compete, and Vietnam has always been a very exciting region when it comes to the world stage. Nevertheless, let's take a look at this video. SylvXS made one of the previous videos that we reacted to. That was a super, super good one. Medic, we love Medic. Medic is our boy, and this is posted on Travis Gafford's channel. Show Up. This is the LCS World's Hype trailer. Let's just jump into it and react. I'm just checking if my audio settings are good. Looks good. Let's just play it.
The LCS. A retirement home, the place talent goes to die.
Ooh.
Disappointing, to say the least.
Let me just check that the quality is good. Okay. Holy, Medic starting very high.
Uzi gets himself the fourth. The Nexus is going down. And Team Solo Mid, their hopes, their dreams, they're done. Royal and Force.
I was in that group. Oh no.
To Chicago.
Come in and Brock's getting the kill credit on that one. And the flash bar comes on. Oh, the insect but betrays his teammate. And it's going to be the ace for Fnatic.
Cody's son loses his mind by...
I'm sorry, but that's funny.
Honestly,
oh, Flame.
It's kind of sad how bad you are.
Whoa, Medic.
But sometimes you're alright. Once in a while, you show up and you show the world a flash of brilliance that makes us all remember.
That's cool. Yeah, we got smacked in the head by this C9. Let's be honest. We got smacked in the head. We lost 2 games.
They've been able to track the enemy.
The orange steel, beautiful. This COG was actually hype. This COG was hype.
You make us remember that when the chips are down, when we've all counted you out, you get up off the mat. And in a year that constantly barrages us with uncertainty and doubt, what better time to surprise? Look, I've heard it all before. This is North America's year. I'm definitely not sold. But luckily, this year, you might just stand a chance.
Okay. A lot of things can follow that sentence. A lot of things can follow that sentence. I'm excited for what comes next, because this is like one of those moments when you play a game with multiple choices, and this is just going to alter the complete future of this video. What comes after the previous sentence? Let's just listen to it once again.
I've heard it all before. This is North America's year. I'm definitely not sold. But luckily, this year, you might just stand a chance. Team Liquid, coached by a guy so fed up of me flaming your teams on cast that he built a roster that is ready to win.
He built that roster? Don't get me wrong, I props for Jet for this incredible, season, as a first coaching year. But let's be honest, he didn't build that roster. Like, come on, man. That roster was already built. That roster was just double lift out, tactical in. Everything was in place. He didn't do any building. The house was there and the decoration is looking beautiful.
FlyQuest, the team that even NA fans forgot to support, but they just kept surprising and were one win away from the title. And after 2 long years, TSM are back. Bjergsen and Doublelift finally reunited. It's time to live up to the hype. Whether you're a rookie or a veteran, Worlds is it. It's time to show us what you've got.
Bjergsen wants back in. He has the ulti.
Okay, Bjergsen.
Now he is. Scoops in 3. Look at that play.
Okay,
the carries
Bjergsen.
are alive. The wave clear is in. Ignar taken up in the front line, puts on the shield. Can they
Tactical.
Tactical tries. He finds 1. He finds 2. He's gonna find 3.
Okay, Tactical.
Can he make it happen? Can he get the steal?
What? All these plays, I've seen them used so frequently.
He's gonna try, and you gotta believe he can do it.
TL just running through him.
So are you ready, NA?
It's dunked back in on the 5.
Are you ready to etch your name into history?
Nobody's around to stop it. We're gonna have a base race.
Right now, the world is counting you out. LCS, are you gonna show up?
All right. Yeah, honestly, like there are some players that are coming out of North America that look interesting. I'm curious about Speaker's performance, how that's going to look, because like when you look at some players, you know that like the sky is the limit, and knowing that this is Speaker's start, sky is the limit. Bjergsen, I'm excited about Tactical too. I'm happy that North America has begun to take, some steps in, the right direction in terms of what has been fundamentally wrong with the region for the longest time. And I think it bears fruit. Nevertheless, for those looking for a more analytical video, this is going to be, coming later in the afternoon. I'm just thinking if I should click this video. This is looking quite intriguing. Let's see. Oh, what is this?
Kicking off in just a week.
Okay, we skip it. Okay. Oh, the video was alright. I think I share the sentiment. Like I had this, I wanted to just comment on a different topic that is revolving like North America, because there's this perception that I am like really like against North America or something, which is kind of silly, because I think it all stems from comments that happened in the past, and I think I put in a lot of effort to make sure that my analysis is unbiased, and when it comes to my analysis of North America, most of the time it's been accurate, even though it might come across as something like my cat is eating plastic. Muffin, please, it's plastic, you don't need to eat it. Okay. And it's strange to me, very strange to me. I can't really find the thread. There was my top list. Maybe the Reddit mod's deleted. I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, it always happens. I can't seem to to find it. Maybe just delete it. Okay. Oh, here. So a lot of people, you can see right away if the upvotes, it's 81% upvoted. If you scroll further down, people have this impression. Well, a lot of NA fans have this impression that I like hate North America. I don't know. It's silly to me, and that's why I made this thread on Reddit about my comments. And I understand that there's some people that are always going to be upset by analysis. It's because regardless of how hard you try, it is going to be viewed through your biased lens. It's just something that is unavoidable, and I'm not afraid to admit it. And I think anyone that doesn't is kind of not in tune with what is going on, because I have my impressions and there are things that I will see and I'm going to add to my analysis. But the key thing is just reasoning behind why you make a specific prediction. So I'm just going to go through this thread and just elaborate further. I was rolling in bed and noticed the Reddit thread for my top lists. A note, I do not put much thought into honorable mentions. There's names that are missed out, and sometimes use some examples I could contrast with my other choices. My videos are not scripted nor edited. So I said this because my top list, I made it in a way where I wanted to make it as compact as possible. I wanted to just make sure that it's not too convoluted. So I didn't put much thought into the honorable mentions. I did that specifically because, I removed it from the list specifically because I just didn't want it to be, overloaded with just information. And the next tweet is, to put some of your minds at ease, Code JJ is an honorable mention. I didn't mention him in the video, but it's something that, in hindsight, I would be able to put as an honorable mention. It's just, to me, in the video complete, I didn't mention any top lane honorable mentions. So it wasn't an integral part of the video. I was talking 40 minutes straight into a camera without any script, any kind of guidance at all, besides the list that was in front of me. And I just do the videos off the cuff because I'm trying to... My thought process is that I'd rather put out a lot of content and do my best, and instead of spending time to edit and putting a lot of effort onto that aspect of it, because I just want to get things out there, because I want to have a conversation. I want to have a conversation with people, and it's way easier to do it when it's unfiltered and just out there, and then I can just adjust as we go. To put some of your minds at ease, Coach is an honorable mention. It is funny to me that I am viewed as someone who hates NA. If you look at the history of my predictions regarding the region, they've been most of the time very accurate. And coming into this, last year's Worlds, I was also considered a North America hater. And North America bombed out pretty heavily. And I'm not saying this to, be inflammatory, but it's just happened to happen. It is nothing personal, but I do understand why for some fans, players, it is. We're all viewing things through our lens of bias. So if you are spending most of the time watching a region, there is going to be, you're going to view it through rose-tinted glasses. And it's important to admit this to yourself. I realize now, I was over in the LCK. I watched all LCK games, all LPL games, and all LEC games. It does shift your mindset a lot when you're not practicing within the region. So you don't have the same level of understanding as to why teams are doing what they're doing. You just see the final product, right? You don't see the problems they've gone through in order to reach that product. And that's usually how, drafts come up. In the LCK, there is a progression in draft. In LEC, there was a progression in draft. And being in the LCK, I was very confused by the things that were going on in the LEC. And maybe if I was in the LEC, I would be confused about what was going on in the LCK, right? So I have access to more detailed information. Some of the examples of what I was confused about when it came to the LEC was the late adaptation on Ashe, the level of play when it came to Jhin, the obsession with tanks in top lane, how was shot picking Set every game top. This was very, very strange to me because the meta was very different over here in, of course, the LCK. I imagine the Cloud9 will go 0-6 in this group will come up. This is just a more interesting way of saying that coming into the group, Cloud9 looked the weakest. So keep in mind, this was back in 2015. This was my first Worlds appearance as in the capacity of an analyst for the broadcast. And I am sitting next to 3 other people that are a lot of bravado. They're very charismatic, and you will have very few moments to speak, and when you do, it has to be impactful, right? It has to be impactful because that is just the nature of the analyst desk. The ones that get, cut out and clipped are the ones that, are very, very punchy and are the ones that evoke emotion. So I said Cloud9 will go 0-6 in this group, which I knew would stir up some flames, right? I don't know. I don't mind that. This is not me saying that, players shouldn't be upset when someone is ranking their team lower than they believe. That's okay. You should do that. That passion is what drives sports. I love that. This is not a video about, trying to put a different spin on that. I think it should be there. I think it's a good thing. But Cloud9 will go 0-6 in this group is just a different way of me saying that Cloud9 looked the weakest coming into the group. They proceeded to not get out of groups, but did beat IG in the standings. So in the end, it was the wrong prediction, right? So my prediction was that Cloud9 would be the last team in this group. And this was just a very, very intriguing way of saying it. Because of course, if you have 2 teams weighing up against each other and you think one is better than the other, you think they're going to win. So statistically, if that is your opinion, statistically they should go 0-6, right? Obviously, there's a deeper conversation there, but if you put one team that you believe is better against a team that is worse and you don't see draft, you think the team that is better is going to win, right? So the conclusion, if I think Cloud9 is the weakest in the group, boom, Cloud9 will go 0-6 in this group. And this evoked a lot of emotions, right? Wow. This evoked a lot of emotions. Coming into the tournament, Cloud9 bled all the way through the gauntlet. So this was a very, very crazy gauntlet run. I believe this was high jungling. This was balls was diamond 2. It was a worrying trend. And we were heading into a top lane heavy meta juggernauts. So this was the Fiora, the Darius meta, where the best of the best top laners in the world were really, really rewarded by this. And the players that people looked at were Smeb, Marin, and Huni. And coming into this tournament, obviously these teams with these players had an edge. They just naturally did. The continuation is, I'm sure there was more reasons, as this was 5 years ago, but point being, the prediction did not come from a point of hate, salt, or any emotion. Parentheses spice. Now this was a very silly joke that I wanted to throw in there just for the heck of it, because salt is a spice, and as hate, any emotion, and then salt, any spice. Haha. It came from looking at the teams and making a prediction to my best knowledge. And that's what it is, right? That's what an analyst does. Make a prediction based off your best knowledge. With the nature of the game and how the bracket group works, there are things I cannot predict without insider knowledge. Not to take anything away from C9's victories in 2015 Worlds, AHQ gave up Gangplank and lost. So the reason this is important is, so I believed AHQ to be the better team, and later AHQ beat them twice to get out of groups. This is Gangplank's pick and ban ratio at the World Championship that year. 4 games were picked, and that was 100% win, and it's 100% present. So this was a perma red side ban, 7 times blue side ban, and then 62 times red side ban. So that is absolutely crazy when it comes to a champion. This champion was grossly overpowered. Insanely overpowered, and C9 were given this champion and took away a victory, right? And this is something that, as an analyst, it's tough to predict. Are they going to give up the most OP champion in the game and just test their own limits, right? And this is something that HQ did, and they ended up losing. So I was like, okay, C9 win a game. That's the nature of the sport that is predictions. After, there was the Fnatic versus C9 game, and here it was the first pick Darius, and for some reason Fnatic chose to counterpick Darius with Yasuo. So I don't know on what earth you think that is a good idea, but this was Fnatic being completely disrespectful. This was Huni thinking, this scrub, I'm going to clean the floor with him, because this is the draft that is not so good into a Darius. This is an easy setup for a Darius Pentacle that eventually happened. Keep in mind, I'm not trying to take anything away from C9's victories. It is just these aspects that sometimes, you know, if we look at the draft after the fact, maybe I would change my prediction. This was a 0-6 call out before we saw any of the teams play, right? And then finally with IG, they bombed out horribly, as did China as a whole, after winning MSI that same year. So this was the EDG year, where they beat SKT into, you know, a game 5, and then, you know, SKT came down with furious anger and, you know, destroyed the whole World Championship. And after studying LPL Pro Views, my excitement was very high, as was the case for most people. LPL bombed out horribly that tournament. That was the Gold V, that was the God V, you know, LGD got completely dismantled. IG was all over the place, like Kakao was just farming jungle, even like the enemy was taking his Nexus and he was still farming the jungle. You know, there was just, the LPL was in shambles. EDG got out of groups, but they lost to Fnatic in best of 5s later down the line. You guys remember the Deft Jace TP situation and all. And then, just as a final note, in case you did not watch Worlds back then, C9 went 0-3 in week 2. I think it might be 0-4, I saw someone commented. And the reason I'm telling you this whole story is because, once again, even this piece of analysis that people often go to as, oh, this was him hating North America. This came from a place of analysis, right? And I can even remember the pieces of information that I was working with 5 years ago. This was written by me 6 in the morning because I couldn't really sleep. Sometimes that happens. But the point is, once again, everything is coming from the lens of my bias, and my analysis is not really personal at all. It really, really isn't. I am almost, in everyday life, it almost becomes an issue how pragmatic, like ruthlessly pragmatic I am. And I'm trying to reflect that very, very clearly in my analysis. And for some people, they're still going to be upset. And I get that. I get that. I'm not trying to change that. But I thought maybe if someone, you know, understands that they're looking through their own bias and they can get something out of this, if even one person gets something out of it, I believe that it's then worth it. So I thought I would take the time to write this up and, you know, have a little conversation on Twitter 6 in the morning. I don't think it was noticed by too many people because it was posted so late, but I don't mind. It is what it is. You know, Twitter isn't the best platform for, you know, a discussion like this. So all in all, I would like to end the video there. The video of me and Jiizuké discussing the North American teams will be out later. He wakes up, he's still in North America over at the EG Gaming House. We will see what comes next. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it made some level of sense. I just thought that I'll bring this up in unison with the show up trailer, because we've been doing some, you know, reviews to hype trailers too. All right. All the best to you. Take care and cheers.